Welcome to Success Lab. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. It is not a possession you can hold or a title you can wear. It is the invisible architecture of thought, belief, and relentless action. It begins long before the first dollar is earned, long before the first investment is made, long before anyone outside of you can measure its existence. Wealth begins inside the mind. It is not created in the marketplace. It is created in the laboratory of your thoughts, your convictions, and your relentless commitment to possibility. Every individual who has ever built real, lasting wealth understood this principle intuitively, even when no one else did. Andrew Carnegie did not begin as a steel magnate. He began as a boy with belief in the potential of opportunity and a mind trained to see what others ignored. Henry Ford did not create an empire of cars because of raw capital. He created it because his mind refused to accept the impossible. Walt Disney did not draw castles to entertain. He drew them in his imagination because he believed imagination could become reality. Wealth always begins as a seed in consciousness before it manifests in currency, property, or influence. The first lie most people tell themselves is that wealth is external, that it comes from luck, inheritance, timing, or circumstance. And this lie is deadly. It ensures that people chase money like a mirage, exhausting effort without ever developing the mental foundation to capture it. The truth is clear: wealth cannot be given. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be summoned by mere desire. Wealth is the direct reflection of your inner world, your beliefs about your capability, your worth, and your entitlement to abundance. To build wealth, you must first address the narratives playing silently in your mind. Every self-limiting thought, every doubt, every whisper of "I'm not enough" erects barriers in the unseen world of potential. Conversely, every belief in possibility, every acknowledgement of your resourcefulness, every refusal to accept small thinking clears space for opportunity to arrive. The mind is the original currency. It determines your perception of value, risk, reward, and the steps you are willing to take. The wealthiest individuals are those whose mental frameworks are tuned to possibility, opportunity, and unshakable confidence. Consider the contrast. The average person sees challenges as threats. The wealthy mind sees the same challenges as opportunities. The average mind complains about scarcity. The wealthy mind identifies abundance where no one else notices it. The average mind postpones action, waiting for perfect timing or outside approval. The wealthy mind acts, adjusts, and persists. This difference is invisible to the casual observer, yet it produces visible results that separate millionaires and billionaires from those who merely wish for wealth. Belief in your capacity to create value is the cornerstone of wealth. This is why financial education alone does not guarantee success. Knowing how to budget, invest, or negotiate is insufficient without the internal conviction that you are capable of producing, delivering, and multiplying value in the world. Abraham Lincoln did not inherit leadership or skill. He believed in the power of his own mind to learn, adapt, and influence. That belief carried him through repeated defeats to ultimate success. Similarly, your mind is the vessel that will either carry you toward abundance or tether you to scarcity. Visualization and clarity are tools of the mind for the creation of wealth. Every great entrepreneur, every innovator, every self-made magnate begins by seeing what does not yet exist. Elon Musk does not start with completed rockets. He starts with a vision in his mind and lets every thought, every calculation, every decision align with that vision. Wealth is first imagined, first calculated mentally, first strategized in the invisible space before it ever lands in your bank account. If you cannot imagine it, you cannot achieve it. Discipline is the bridge between mental conception and material reality. Belief without discipline remains fantasy. Action without belief is directionless. But when belief in your ability meets consistent, intelligent effort, the mind and the material world begin to converge. The wealthy understand that every dollar, every investment, every business decision is amplified by a mind trained to identify patterns, act decisively, and persist through resistance. Discipline transforms thought into wealth, one decision at a time. Your relationship with money is, at its core, your relationship with your mind. Do you believe you deserve wealth? Do you believe you can create it? Do you believe scarcity is optional? Every mental pattern you hold about money, success, and opportunity is either a conduit or a barrier. Changing your inner narrative is not optional if you intend to build wealth that lasts. Historical patterns show this again and again. Those who fail financially are not always less intelligent or less hardworking. They are misaligned in belief. The same strategies yield massive returns for some and failure for others because the mind interprets and applies information differently. Wealth starts there. Even the language you use shapes your financial reality. The words you think and speak about money become the scaffolding of your mental model. I can't afford this reinforces scarcity. I will find a way reinforces possibility. Wealth is hard to achieve, constructs resistance. I create opportunity every day, constructs alignment, thought precedes action. Action produces result, and wealth is the inevitable consequence when belief, focus, and disciplined action converge. The mind is the original factory of wealth, and thoughts are the raw materials. Every idea, every strategy, every plan originates there long before it becomes visible in the world. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, or scarcity, no amount of opportunity can turn into wealth. The first step in creating abundance is to engineer your inner environment. Thoughts, beliefs, and mental habits must all be calibrated toward growth, value creation, and possibility. Think of wealth as a reflection of mental clarity. The person who constantly doubts their capacity produces hesitation in decisions, missed opportunities, and misaligned actions. The person who believes they can create, adapt, and scale opportunities sees paths where others see walls. This clarity does not appear overnight. It is forged in repeated acts of decision-making, risk assessment, and conscious alignment with long-term goals. Napoleon Hill said that what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. But this is not poetry, it is neuroscience, psychology, and strategy converging in one truth. Your inner world is the blueprint for your outer reality. Consider the habits of those who consistently generate wealth. Warren Buffett spends hours reading, observing patterns, and sharpening his mental framework. He does not chase every trend or succumb to emotional impulses. His mind is trained to identify value, analyze risk, and align action with principle. Similarly, your mind must become a laboratory for opportunity. It must analyze, simulate, and create models of possibility long before the first tangible step is taken. Mental preparation multiplies effectiveness exponentially when action is finally executed. Belief is reinforced through evidence, and the first evidence comes from your daily habits. Every action that aligns with your vision becomes a proof point to your subconscious. When you save, invest, or create value intentionally, you tell your mind, I am capable, I am resourceful, I am deserving of wealth. Each proof point compounds, rewiring neural pathways and expanding your mental boundaries. Over time, belief ceases to be fragile or aspirational. It becomes the operating system through which all decisions flow. Resistance is inevitable. The mind conditioned by scarcity will fight the expansion of possibility. It will whisper, this is too risky, or you're not ready, or you're lucky this time, don't push further. Every pioneer who built real wealth experienced these mental battles. Thomas Edison was mocked endlessly. Carnegie faced rejection. Lincoln endured repeated political defeat. Disney was ridiculed. What separated them was not the absence of doubt, but their refusal to surrender to it. They built mental muscles that allowed belief to overpower fear repeatedly until opportunity could be captured, multiplied, and leveraged. Mental visualization is a tool the wealthy use instinctively. It is not mere daydreaming, it is structured imagination paired with belief. Before a product is launched, before a company is incorporated, before a deal is signed, the wealthy have run countless simulations in their mind. They have anticipated obstacles, planned contingencies, and rehearsed solutions. Wealth begins as a vision first. It is designed in the mind long before it becomes real in the world. And this is why clarity of vision is non-negotiable. A muddled mind produces muddled results. A mind that sees clearly produces exponential outcomes. Your relationship with money begins in your mental narrative. If you believe wealth is for others but not for you, every paycheck, every investment, and every business decision will subtly reinforce scarcity. If you believe that creating value is limitless, every challenge becomes an opportunity to expand influence, generate resources, and attract prosperity. Your mental blueprint determines which doors you see, which risks you take, and which opportunities you pursue. Even if external circumstances appear identical, two people with different mental frameworks will produce dramatically different outcomes. Discipline is the bridge between belief and manifestation. The mind alone is insufficient. Without consistent action, thought remains abstract. The wealthy do not rely on motivation, they rely on systems, routines, and the repeated application of disciplined action. Elon Musk does not wait to feel like working on rockets. He organizes every hour toward producing progress aligned with his vision. Discipline transforms thought into measurable results. Belief fuels action, and action, repeated persistently, converts potential into tangible wealth. Gratitude and mental awareness amplify this process. Recognizing the resources, lessons, and incremental progress you already have trains the mind to see abundance, not scarcity. The person who focuses on what is missing will remain trapped in limitation. The person who focuses on what is present and the potential to expand it creates a feedback loop that reinforces confidence, strategy, and persistence. Gratitude is not sentiment. It is a cognitive tool that primes the mind for wealth creation. Adaptability is another mental skill that directly shapes financial outcomes. The world is unpredictable. Markets shift, opportunities evolve, setbacks occur. Those who cling rigidly to a fixed plan will stumble. Those whose minds are flexible, who adapt while staying anchored in vision, turn turbulence into advantage. Wealth is rarely a straight line. It is earned by those capable of navigating complexity with mental agility, converting uncertainty into decisions that align with long-term goals. Even learning is part of mental wealth creation. Every setback is data, every critique is insight, every success is confirmation of possibility. A mind committed to growth accumulates knowledge, refines strategy, and recalibrates action. In the end, wealth is not simply a measure of income or assets. It is the visible consequence of mental mastery. Thought precedes action. Action produces result. Results are amplified exponentially when the mind is trained, focused, and aligned with the principle that wealth starts in consciousness before it ever touches reality. Wealth is a reflection of your inner ecosystem. Every belief, every thought, every mental habit either builds or erodes it. Most people treat money as an external problem, as if abundance exists outside them waiting to be found. But wealth begins inside before it can appear outside. Your financial reality is nothing more than a mirror of your mental reality. The patterns of your mind dictate how you spend, how you save, how you invest, and how you multiply opportunity. Consider the power of expectation. The mind operates according to what it anticipates. If you subconsciously expect scarcity, every decision, every action, every opportunity will be filtered through that lens. You will hesitate, underinvest, undervalue yourself, and miss the small openings that compound into great fortunes. Conversely, when you hold an expectation of abundance rooted in disciplined belief, your mind scans the environment for possibility. Doors that once seemed closed now appear as gateways. Risks transform into calculated strategies. Challenges become invitations to innovate. This is the invisible law that separates the wealthy from the rest. Clarity is the foundation. To manifest wealth, you must define what it looks like for you, not society's version, not a number on a spreadsheet, but a life of value, impact, and freedom. A mind without clarity drifts. It chases trends, distractions, and illusions of opportunity. A mind with clarity aligns decisions, actions, and priorities toward a singular vision of creation. Every choice, from daily habits to long-term investments, becomes intentional rather than reactive. This alignment is what transforms effort into exponential results. Belief in your worth is non-negotiable. Those who accumulate wealth consistently understand that self-perception precedes income. If you do not believe you are capable of generating wealth, the mind will sabotage opportunity. You will procrastinate, overthink, or undervalue yourself. Conversely, when belief in your capacity is unwavering, fear becomes data, doubt becomes insight, and hesitation gives way to decisive action. Abraham Lincoln did not wait for external validation. He built belief internally, step by step, and his results reflected the strength of that inner conviction. Action is the bridge between mind and reality. A wealth-focused mindset alone is insufficient. Without execution, thought is vapor. Wealth demands persistent, intelligent, and aligned action. Every entrepreneur, investor, and creator demonstrates this principle. Henry Ford did not imagine cars for the sake of fantasy. He designed, engineered, and produced them through deliberate, repeated labor. The mind visualized possibility, but action made it tangible. Discipline ensures that thought translates into results, even when obstacles loom and motivation falters. Resistance is unavoidable. Every step toward wealth triggers internal and external forces to challenge your belief. Doubt, fear, and comfort zones all conspire to keep you small. The mental battlefield is real. Every visionary faces it. Walt Disney endured ridicule, bankruptcy, and rejection before his vision manifested. Edison experienced repeated failures before light illuminated the world. The difference between those who succeed and those who surrender is the mind's ability to persist, adapt, and focus relentlessly. Wealth is always a product of mental endurance more than material circumstances. Visualization is more than imagining success, it is mental rehearsal. Wealth is built by running scenarios in your mind before executing in reality. Every potential obstacle, every challenge, every negotiation is pre-played mentally so that when action occurs, the mind is prepared. Elon Musk, for example, models systems, risks, and outcomes long before production. This mental preparation allows the mind to act with precision, confidence, and efficiency. Imagination is the invisible laboratory where wealth is first created. Gratitude strengthens this process. The wealthy mind does not dwell on lack, it measures and appreciates the resources, opportunities, and progress already present. Gratitude is cognitive fuel that amplifies focus and persistence. It trains the mind to perceive abundance, even in small increments, creating momentum that attracts more. Each acknowledgement of what is already working reinforces belief and strengthens the mental frameworks necessary to build wealth. Adaptability is essential. The world is volatile. Markets shift, regulations change, crises emerge. Wealth is earned by those who respond intelligently, who adjust without losing sight of vision. The mind anchored in belief and disciplined by action becomes flexible. The wealthy pivot instead of panic, innovate instead of react passively. Adaptability is mental agility. It ensures that unexpected events serve as catalysts rather than barriers. Learning multiplies wealth. Every mistake becomes information. Every challenge becomes data. Every success becomes reinforcement. The mind that embraces continual learning transforms uncertainty into leverage. Knowledge is not collected for prestige. It is assimilated to improve decision-making, identify opportunity, and refine strategy. The individual who combines belief, clarity, disciplined action, and continuous learning accumulates not just financial wealth, but the capacity to multiply it. At its core, wealth is the consequence of a mind trained for abundance. The external world cannot grant it without alignment internally. Money, resources, and opportunity follow mental patterns. The mindset of scarcity produces scarcity. The mindset of abundance produces abundance. Success is not an accident, and wealth is not luck. Both are the reflection of the invisible, disciplined, and intentional activity of the mind. The paradox is simple: you cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your mind, and your mind shapes every decision, every risk, every action that produces results. The wealthy understand this principle intuitively. They know that mastering the mind is the first step to mastering money, influence, and opportunity. The mental framework must precede the material manifestation. Without it, wealth remains elusive, fleeting, or accidental. The mind is not only the birthplace of wealth, it is its compass, its engine, and its architect. Every decision you make, every opportunity you recognize, and every action you take is filtered through the lens of your mental framework. If your mind is trained to see scarcity, every door looks closed. If your mind is trained to see value, every challenge becomes an opportunity. This invisible filter determines outcomes long before any external factor does. The creation of wealth is therefore a mental exercise as much as it is a practical one. Consider the law of focus. The average person's mind jumps from distraction to distraction, chasing trends, following advice, or reacting to external events. The wealthy mind, in contrast, is fiercely disciplined in its focus. Andrew Carnegie did not become a steel magnate by dabbling in every industry. He focused relentlessly on one objective, one strategy, and one vision. Focus sharpens your mental faculties, aligns your decisions, and amplifies every action you take. Without focus, thought diffuses into inaction, and wealth remains a dream deferred. Belief and action are inseparable. Belief without action is imagination. Action without belief is chaos. Together, they form the twin pillars of financial mastery. Every successful entrepreneur, investor, and innovator knows this instinctively. Elon Musk did not wait for perfect timing or external validation. He acted because he believed. Every setback, every failed rocket, every financial obstacle was met with persistent strategy and adaptation. Action grounded in belief converts the invisible mental blueprint of wealth into visible reality. The mind also needs resilience. Wealth creation is never linear. Setbacks, losses, and failures are inevitable. Those who succeed are not those who avoid failure. They are those who believe in their capacity to recover, adapt, and persist. Thomas Edison's thousands of failed experiments did not define him. His belief in eventual success did. Resilience is a mental muscle built through repeated confrontation with adversity. Every time you persist when quitting seems easier, your mind expands its definition of what is possible. Gratitude and reflection reinforce the mental environment for wealth. A mind focused only on scarcity grows weaker under pressure. A mind attuned to abundance grows stronger. The wealthy habitually acknowledge the progress already made, the resources available, and the lessons embedded in struggle. Gratitude is not complacency. It is a cognitive framework that primes the mind for continued growth. It strengthens focus, enhances decision-making, and turns obstacles into accelerators. Adaptability is another critical mental skill. Markets change, economies shift, and circumstances evolve. The individual whose mind is rigid, resistant, or fearful will stagnate. The person whose mind adapts without losing clarity or vision transforms disruption into opportunity. Wealth is rarely built in predictable conditions. It is cultivated by those who can pivot, innovate, and realign quickly, always anchored in belief and disciplined by action. Learning is a multiplier. The wealthy never stop analyzing, observing, and improving. Every failure becomes information. Every challenge becomes insight. Every success becomes reinforcement. Napoleon Hill emphasized that knowledge is power only when organized into definite plans of action. The mind that continually learns transforms every experience into capital, intellectual, emotional, and financial. Without this ongoing refinement, even a strong belief system becomes brittle and vulnerable to external pressures. Language shapes thought. The words you speak and the stories you tell yourself directly influence the patterns of your mind. I can't programs hesitation. I'll try later programs procrastination. I create value programs confidence and action. Wealth begins with mental scripts that reinforce possibility, resourcefulness, and expansion. The disciplined use of language, thought, and belief creates the internal conditions necessary for tangible financial outcomes. Vision without action is illusion. Action without vision is wasted energy. The mind aligned with clarity, belief, and discipline transforms uncertainty into a roadmap. Every financial decision becomes deliberate, every opportunity is evaluated strategically, and every action produces compounding results. Elon Musk visualized space travel decades before launching SpaceX. Warren Buffett visualized long-term value when others chased speculation. Every example in history points to one truth: mental alignment precedes material success. The mind is the ultimate differentiator. Intelligence, talent, and luck matter far less than the framework through which you perceive, interpret, and act. Two people with identical opportunities will produce entirely different outcomes based on mental conditioning alone. One sees threat, the other sees chance. One freezes, the other acts. One gives up, the other persists. Wealth is not merely earned, it is a reflection of a mind trained to see, act, and believe beyond immediate circumstance. Ultimately, wealth is invisible first. It exists in the patterns of thought, the rigor of discipline, the alignment of vision, and the perseverance of belief. Those who understand this principle know that external conditions matter far less than internal mastery. They invest in mental infrastructure, sharpen focus, cultivate resilience, and continuously learn. And the external world responds not out of luck, but because the mind is now capable of orchestrating its reflection. Wealth is never a coincidence. It is never merely inherited, stumbled upon, or awarded randomly. It is the manifestation of a mind trained, disciplined, and focused on possibility. The external world responds to the internal environment you cultivate. What you believe about yourself, your capacity, and the opportunities around you determines what arrives in your life. The mind is the command center. Wealth is the output. Action, persistence, clarity, and strategy are the channels through which thought becomes tangible. The journey begins with belief. If you cannot see yourself as capable of creating, multiplying, or sustaining wealth, the world will confirm that limitation for you. Scarcity becomes the default. Doubt governs decisions. Hesitation prevents execution. Those who understand the law of mental creation know that every financial breakthrough begins with a shift in what is possible inside the mind. The wealthy visualize abundance, rehearse strategies mentally, and train themselves to act decisively before external validation appears. Discipline amplifies belief. Every wealthy individual you study has relied on routine, repetition, and deliberate practice. Warren Buffett reads for hours each day to sharpen his judgment. Thomas Edison experimented thousands of times to refine his inventions. Elon Musk structures days to maximize focus, reduce waste, and channel energy toward measurable outcomes. Discipline converts belief into tangible steps, bridging imagination and reality. Without it, thought remains an idea, and opportunity remains invisible. Persistence is the engine that drives mental wealth creation. The path will not be smooth. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments that challenge your conviction. Lincoln faced repeated political losses before becoming president. Disney faced bankruptcy and ridicule before building his empire. The difference was not luck, it was persistence anchored in belief. Each act of endurance strengthens the mind, rewires perception, and signals to the subconscious that you are committed to abundance. This mental momentum compounds, producing results that appear miraculous to outsiders but are inevitable consequences of alignment. Gratitude strengthens resilience and belief. The mind focused solely on scarcity becomes small, reactive, and fragile. The mind that actively acknowledges existing resources lessons from failure, and incremental progress grows stronger. Gratitude is not sentimental. It is a cognitive tool that primes the brain to see opportunity, maintain clarity, and persist under pressure. When you pair belief with gratitude, your mental environment becomes fertile for the creation and expansion of wealth. Adaptability ensures survival in a world of constant change. Economic shifts, market volatility, and unexpected challenges test every aspiring creator. The person anchored rigidly to fixed ideas or outdated strategies will falter. The person who adapts, who flexes strategy without compromising vision, turns obstacles into advantages. Wealth is rarely built in predictable conditions. It is cultivated by those capable of responding intelligently, innovating under pressure, and maintaining internal alignment. Learning multiplies potential. Every failure, setback, or criticism becomes a data point. Every observation, study, or mentorship experience adds to the architecture of mental wealth. Knowledge without application is inert. Belief without refinement is brittle. Learning ensures that belief evolves, decisions improve, and strategies compound over time. The mind that embraces growth continuously transforms circumstances into opportunities. Language shapes reality. What you think and say about wealth shapes the mental framework through which you operate. I can't afford this, programs scarcity. I'll find a way, programs creativity. This is impossible, programs limitation. I create opportunity every day, programs action. Wealth begins in thought and is reinforced by language, belief, and disciplined action. This is why mindset, more than anything else, determines results. Vision is the catalyst for action. Without a clear image of what wealth means to you, not someone else's version but your personal definition, effort becomes scattered and opportunities are misread or ignored. Elon Musk visualized a reusable rocket decades before launching SpaceX. Buffett visualized long-term value before investing. Wealth is a deliberate creation of the mind, rehearsed, refined, and executed with clarity and persistence. The paradox is simple: you cannot control external circumstances, but you can control your mind. Every financial decision, every opportunity recognized, every risk taken is filtered through your mental framework. Those who master their mind create wealth consistently because their perception, action, and persistence are aligned with possibility. The external world may resist temporarily, but the internal engine of belief, focus, discipline, and adaptability will inevitably produce results. Wealth is therefore invisible first, tangible second. It exists in neural patterns, in mental clarity, in disciplined action, and in resilient persistence. It is amplified by gratitude, sustained by adaptability, and multiplied by learning. The wealthy do not wait for opportunity, they create it, anticipate it, and execute it. And every external measure of wealth, money, assets, influence, is simply a reflection of the mental system that preceded it. Remember this: you do not get what you wish for. You do not get what is easy or convenient. You get what your mind allows you to see, believe, and act upon. The first dollar, the first deal, the first investment is a product of mental mastery. The empire that follows is a product of repeated, aligned, and disciplined execution. The law is unchanging: wealth starts in the mind. Anchor your beliefs, train your mind, act with discipline, persist despite resistance, adapt intelligently, learn relentlessly, and watch as the invisible becomes visible. What begins in thought becomes reality. What begins in belief becomes wealth. Thanks for watching.